Episode 10. Let's go.
Let's go.
What's going on?
It's been a couple of weeks.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah. It's been a lot going on.
Been a few weeks.
It's been busy, guys.
But you know what?
What's up?
We got a record player.
Hey.
We got a whole record player, and I actually really like it.
I told you would. Whose idea was it?
I already knew I would.
I know. So that was definitely a really cool surprise you did there. Really love it.
This is just a PSA also. If you guys want to get into records, don't go for the Victrola. Don't go for the Crosley, I think the other brand is.
Oh my God.
Like those are just cheap. They look really cool. They look really nostalgic. But the components are plastic and they're just trash. Don't even waste your money.
Well, I mean, at first, they were pretty good like the first week because we even played some of the vinyls we had. So they were fine.
It only worked on a few vinyls, but
right.
It was skipping brand new out of the package.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I didn't like that. And it's just, it wasn't worth it.
But now?
Now the one we got is great. But the DJ in me wanted to get that one though.
Which one?
The one we have now. The Audio Technica.
Oh, great. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. Honestly, I even like the look of it. I think it adds some type of modern style to it. The last one was a little more vintagey look, like the old school.
Oh man, and don't get me wrong, I really hate that we had to give it up.
Yeah. But
it wasn't worth it. Like the woodworking in the one we got looked amazing.
Right.
But the platter and everything that moved around to actually play the records, it was just not good quality. So if you guys are going to get into records, just go ahead and spend the extra money, get an actual turntable.
For sure.
And, don't waste your money on that nonsense, nostalgic type crap. It was not worth it. Waste of money, waste of time.
Just waste of time.
Yeah.
But the money was worth it. I mean, yes, we did pay a little bit more for this one, but it's worth it so far.
Yeah.
So what's been your favorite vinyl you've gotten so far?
My favorite vinyl?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know. That Nina Simone was actually really good from start to finish.
He just got that one today, by the way.
Yeah.
He surprised me with that one.
Oh, no, that was for me.
That's okay.
That's not for you.
Hey,
I've been waiting for Nina Simone.
Roof.
That was for me.
It's the same roof.
You better stay away from that one.
Mm-mm. No, it's a good
But
one.
yeah, I don't know. If I had to choose, maybe that one.
Okay. Hey, Erykah Badu was pretty good too.
That was good, but that's not old. That's not like an original press.
No, I know.
So, but yeah, I think that one.
Kudos,
how about yours?
For sure. If I would say like very like old school, probably Roberta Black. That's probably one of my favorite ones.
That one's good too.
Yeah, I could probably listen to that every day.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have any recommendations, let us know.
Yep, let us know. To the topic at hand, though.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Tony always comes with his topics, guys. I have no clue, by the way.
You do. We talked about this one.
We did. Well, we talk about a lot, but I don't know what you're going to bring, when we're about to do the podcast. Like, I have no idea what you're going to bring to me. So let's see. Let's see what it is.
All right, guys. So today's topic is millennial parents raising Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids.
All right. Yeah, we've talked a lot about this.
What is wrong with these kids today?
We're experiencing this right now as we speak, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have the privilege or misfortune, depending on how you look at it, of raising.
Misfortune.
Yeah, we have the privilege or misfortune of raising a millennial. I'm sorry, not a millennial. A Gen Z kid and a Gen Alpha kid.
Is that what Leilani is?
Yeah.
A Gen Alpha?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to keep up with all of this. I sometimes get all mixed up, so.
Yeah, so she's a Gen Alpha.
Okay.
Elias is a Gen Z. And we just so happen to be millennial parents.
Hooray to us, man.
And we're OG millennials, because I really don't like that they categorize us with people born in the early 90s, because although we share similarities, I feel like we've lived a different life.
We definitely did. Definitely did. I think we just got the
I feel like we're
first tip of it.
We're different enough from the later millennials that we should be categorized differently.
Yeah, so if you don't know, guys, we're both born 1984, and we're in that group where we were like, why are we categorized millennials? Remember? Mm-hmm. It's like we shouldn't be millennials, because we literally got the beginning of everything, like technology.
Yeah.
The internet and talking on the internet, right?
Like we're the last group to play
social media.
Yeah. We're the last group to play outside. We're the first group to experience the internet.
Right.
We've gone through social media.
It's so funny. I was just watching the movie You've Got Mail.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember hearing that sound too.
Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, and it took me back, man. Take me back, because I was one. I was one that would go into those chat rooms.
Yeah.
And I would just be talking to people, and it's kind of scary though, because sometimes, me being a teenager and then talking to some people, now looking back, I'm like, probably shouldn't have been doing that.
I mean, that was like the wild, wild west of the internet days, though. You had dial up. If you were on the internet, you couldn't be on the phone. If somebody picked up the phone, you'd be booted off the internet.
Dang, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we don't experience these things nowadays. Now, sure. We don't even have landlines, most of us.
I know.
So.
I do know a couple of people that still have it.
Yeah, usually they're older people. My grandparents still have a landline.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they've had the same number for as long as I can remember.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've never changed their number.
Okay, so this is what I predict. I feel like it's going to get back to that. I don't know why, but seeing some of these videos of this new generation and
because they're going back to the old, the nostalgia and the older.
Well,
older
for
days.
us it's nostalgia. For them it's something totally new, right? So I don't know. I feel like somewhere, somehow we're about to see that again.
You know what? It's possible, but landlines are becoming so outdated that phone companies are starting to not update them anymore. So
I mean, unless it becomes popular, and the whole thing about it, it's it has to bring.
It might come back, but I think we're a ways away from that. Okay. We might see that years down the line, but phone companies are no longer updating their landlines
they're not
anymore.
Offering it. Is that
no,
what
they're
saying?
Still offering it,
really?
But I just read that some phone company somewhere is they're not going to upgrade their lines anymore.
Okay.
Because it's becoming outdated. Nobody's on a landline anymore. Although it's safer to have a landline, because if cell phone towers go out, you don't have a way to make a phone call. But landlines,
I see what you're saying.
If you have a landline,
it's been a long time, Tony.
You don't remember this?
Man.
Even if you didn't have phone service on a landline, you could still dial the fire department or 911 or, some emergency number. You didn't have to have an active service to dial those things.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we might see it in our lifetime. We might.
Maybe.
I feel like some of these things, all this, we were talking earlier about the records, vinyls. I mean, that's coming back. And even you saw a lot of young people today in the record store, right?
Yeah, I did. And it's, it's a trip to see. I was at the record store with my mom, and I watched her buy records and then cassette tapes. Mm-hmm. And then CDs.
You think cassettes are coming back?
Maybe.
You think so?
It might be the next thing to come back. Yeah, maybe.
Man, I wish I would have kept all my. That would have been cool.
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
And now we're back to vinyl again.
Well.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see.
It's a circle, guys.
Yeah.
History repeats itself. That's what my history teacher would say to me.
But since we're talking about generations, I did want to give some context as to like when these generations were born.
For sure.
So Gen X, those are like our parents. And so Gen X is from 1965 to 1971. And I think depending on the source you guys read, like the years may vary a little bit.
Right.
But this,
they
always have like a ballpark range. And then you have millennials, which is 1980 to 1994. And that's what I disagree with. Like somebody born in 1980
to 1984.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
so it's like every 15 years, basically.
Yeah, I guess about.
Right.
The person born in 1980 did not experience the same thing as the person born in 1994.
So, okay. So it's every 15 years. All right. So from 1980 to 1994.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Gen Z is 95 to 2012.
Not even 14 years. Okay.
Right. So there's even some differences
Wait,
there.
95 to what? 2012?
2012.
That's such a big... Yeah, that's...
So there's even a gap there because people born in 2012, they had internet, they had Wi-Fi.
That's such a big gap, though.
Yeah. Versus the person born in 95, they just saw the beginning of the internet.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have Gen Alpha, which is 2013, and they put a cap on it at 2025. And I think what's after that is Generation Beta.
Eat on it.
No, for real though.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're. It's not on here, but they're gonna call it Generation Beta.
That's sad. Come on, they're just making now.
Beta.
Now they're just
Beta.
They're making fun of them. They're just making fun of them at this point. That's sad. That doesn't have a good reputation. Why would they even use that?
Not everybody knows that reference though.
I'm sure a lot of people know what if somebody's called beta, what it means by now.
Well, that's the next generation, Generation Beta. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Okay. All right. I mean, I definitely being a millennial and just seeing two generations, Elias and Leilani, like I can see the difference.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, is that not normal?
I mean, yeah, because they were born in different times.
Right.
Elias, he kind of saw the progression of Wi-Fi and online gaming and things like that. Leilani was born into it.
Right. Big time.
You can
really see it even at schools. You can see it at schools that it's all computer.
Yeah. For sure.
Any subject. Although I would say that because we are seeing this trend of, now realizing the impact that the web has on children and, having them in front of the screen, what it's doing to them. I do feel that schools are trying their best to incorporate more hands-on things. And, just recently they said they're going back to learning how to handwrite, right? Cursive. So supposedly they're bringing that back now.
But is it necessary though, really? Because in the working field, you're not really writing anything anymore. Everything is computer based. I mean, I know there's some jobs out there where you have to handwrite things, but for the most part, You know, when you're writing a document, it's typically typing.
You know what? So this is the way I think. I always think of like our founding fathers of this nation. You know how back then they would all write in cursive.
Yeah.
And how like the Declaration of Independence. By the way, I got to see the original one.
Yeah, you told me.
And I always thought that like,
or you thought it was the original,
right? You never know. So I always thought that like, how are this new generation gonna be able to read something like that?
Oh, I don't think they'll be able to.
They have to have like a typed, copy of it in order to know what it's saying, because I mean that's like some vintage cursive, so
yeah, they won't be able to. Hey, side note, this is off track, but have you heard of the Gen Z Bible?
Yes,
man.
Yes,
these fools over here, man.
Yes, I have, and I googled it, and it has like a lot of modern words or terminology. So they can understand.
They took the Bible and they put Gen Z terminology in it. I don't know. I think it's kind of comical. I don't know if it was. I guess it's more like a satire thing. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked into it. I've just heard a few like verses from it or whatever. If you guys are interested, go look it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I have to do a little more research.
I'm not opposed to it. I think eventually, I mean, just as we were in our times and we had our lingo, we grow out of it. We grow up.
But
and eventually we transition.
Our language wasn't written in the Bible, though.
But that's the thing. But okay, but they're trying something new. Like, this is the way I'm seeing it. They're just trying something new, something that maybe kids can understand.
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on. I don't think that a child that's going to transition into adulthood, that book, I don't know. I don't see them continue to use the same book. It's just, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I did have a kid's Bible. Leilani has a kid's Bible.
Yeah.
The wording is way easier for her to understand.
Okay.
She's not going to use that Bible forever.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. She's going to transition into an adult Bible.
I don't know. I have to look into it. Okay. I'm not sold on it, but I don't know much about it, so I'll go ahead and leave it at that.
For sure. I think that as a parent, if you are going to go that route, make sure you probably review it first before introducing it to your child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the behaviors of these kids, though.
Okay.
Like if we scroll online, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or what have you, whatever social media, and you're looking at these Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids, particularly Gen Z, because those are the ones who are a little bit older in high school. You see that a lot of videos circulating online, these kids are extremely disruptive in classrooms. They're disrespectful to their teachers. They can be disrespectful to other authority figures. Mm-hmm. I've seen videos of teachers quitting mid-session in class.
Yeah. And you know what? I was just talking to a couple of friends today about that. We literally were just having that conversation, and we were just saying that teachers are not providing that discipline. And we're not talking about physical discipline, but I don't know. We were just saying, as like us growing up, it's not that we were scared of them, but we knew better. We knew that, hey, this was an adult figure and this was somebody that you needed to respect, right? Not because we were afraid they were going to hit us, but we knew that if we didn't listen, we were going to get it at home.
Right. Yeah. So that's the problem then, mm-hmm. because our generation isn't disciplining
Right.
the next generation. And so that has been carried over into school behavior.
Right. And I think
Because there's no consequences.
Yeah.
And if something does happen, word gets back to the parent, but then the parent goes off on the teacher.
Well, you see, that's
the,
different.
The teacher's hands are tied.
So that's different, though. You know what I mean? Because if you're a parent that you're trying to change that generational trauma that you had growing up as a millennial, right? At home, but yet you're not providing that proper discipline. Because if you're not going to provide, I don't know, like if you're not going to parent your child the same way your parents did to you, there has to be a balance, so what happened? Like the question is, what's happening that, like you said, you have these parents that are going off on teachers or, are taking the kid's side when obviously the kid is being destructive. I mean, that's different.
I think that we grew up in an era where it was just do as you're told because we're the grown-ups and you're the kid. I think that was probably traumatic for a lot of us. And so we have kind of swung the pendulum in the opposite direction. And now we kind of want to be friends with our kids. We want to be the cool parents. And also, we don't want to discipline our kids the way that our parents disciplined us. And unfortunately, I think what's happened is, like I said, that pendulum has swung completely in the opposite direction. And so now we're getting very little discipline, or in some cases, no discipline at all.
Right.
Right. You have...
And that's what I'm saying, though, about the balance.
Right.
Right. Not providing any discipline and not taking accountability, for what your child is doing in this
Right.
type of environments where that's not acceptable. Punching a teacher or being disruptive.
Right. So that's the thing. It's not acceptable, but there's no consequences.
Right. There
isn't. So then is it acceptable?
No.
And these kids, nothing's being done to these kids. These kids aren't being arrested. Like, let us hit a teacher back in our day. Man, we'd be in handcuffs and hauled off to juvenile hall.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
Tons of videos. Kids throwing furniture.
Yeah. Cussing.
Yeah.
Listen to inappropriate things in class. I think the one video that stands out a lot was the ballet teacher, and it's all over social media. Everybody's talking about it, but right, she's telling the students, hey, you can't use that language, you can't dance like that, you can't listen to that type of music. And what kind of response is she receiving? You're not my mama.
Yeah.
And then the parents are coming and cussing at her.
The parents are backing up that behavior.
Okay, I mean, come on. That obviously that type of behavior is being taught at home.
Right. So then we go down the line and we go to Gen Alpha. These kids are just on their iPads all day.
Yeah. That's another factor.
Or on their phones all day. And so now these younger kids are getting into class. They can't focus. They can't pay attention.
Right.
They take something away from them. These little kids have phones nowadays. They take the phones away from them. They throw fits. They don't know how to handle it.
It's their addiction, man.
They don't know how to pay attention.
I mean, it's all over the internet. It's all over the internet, and you and I have heard, even at church, we had, I think, a speaker, right? He's like I forgot what was his title, but he was, I think he was a doctor, or a new type of neurologist. But anyways, he basically said that if you do an MRI of a child that has long hours of tablet
Screen
time,
time.
screen
Yeah.
time,
Uh-huh.
it's basically the same as somebody who is who has an addiction. It's the same, man. How scary is that? And we've experienced it. We've experienced it with our kids. That it was when we finally said, "Hey, we enough is enough." We had to limit their time. It was hard at first, and it because we saw their reaction to it.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, like, where is this behavior coming from? Relax, calm down,
Yeah. Find something else to do.
find
There's
something else to
other
do.
outlets. You have,
Right.
you have toys.
Yeah.
You can draw, color,
Yeah, and we
lots of other things. Be
and
creative.
Be creative. And firsthand, guys, we've seen the major impact that it had in our kids. Because as soon as we did that, they've improved so much, academically, or even being able to focus on something. Even now, Leilani, she's our Gen Alpha. she can't have a difficult time focusing, and it's not that she's all the time on the screen, but it's also, I mean, think about it. At school, what do they use? Screen time.
They use computers, and
computers.
She's the unfortunate victim of the whole pandemic and transitioning from being in school to then being out of school and having to learn on a computer, all this while being in kindergarten. So you guys can imagine how far behind she is, unfortunately.
So I would say this, that as parents, we have to be so much aware of that, because the reality is that I would say that factor also plays into the behavior. Realizing that Leilani is frustrated and gets very overwhelmed, not solely because of the screen time, but because the pandemic happened. So we also have to be mindful of that. They got the bad end of it, man.
Yeah,
They're trying to catch up, and the schools are trying to catch the kids up. So that's like another topic that we can talk about. But if you really think about it academically, you have the state in back of this teacher saying, "Hey, this kid's better get these scores better, or tests, the scores on their tests better." So they're just like drilling and drilling and drilling. So now you have this generation that's getting overwhelmed too. So, I mean, I don't know. As parents, you guys have to be very aware. Like, be patient with your kids, be mindful, and balance that out too.
Yeah, for sure. I was watching the news the other day, and the teacher crisis is so bad in San Bernardino. That San Bernardino school district was on the news saying that they're having a job fair, I don't know when, and they're hiring on the spot.
I don't know what it sounds like. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about
Okay.
that.
You don't have to make this about you.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it about me.
Yeah.
Digress.
So yeah, they're actually hiring on the spot. That's how bad it is.
And that's I'm just gonna say, man, that's across the board. But it's scary though. But it's scary because, these are important jobs. These are jobs that work with people. You know what I mean?
Thing is, people don't want to be teachers anymore because kids don't know how to act, and because they don't get paid enough.
Well, they don't get paid enough, and then they're told that they're not allowed to discipline kids. They're not allowed to handle certain situations, how they would handle us.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I mean,
between us and our kids.
I know,
And we're the teachers, right?
right.
Our generation, we're the teachers
No,
now.
and they're younger, man. They're younger too.
Yeah, and they're like the older Gen Zs.
They're right.
Yeah,
They're the Gen Zs.
They're the Gen Zs,
yeah.
and they're the millennials.
So they're dealing with our kids.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they are dealing with our kids, and I think it's just like you said. You know, we as millennials, we're trying to figure out what is the proper parenting style. So, what is a proper parenting style?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question.
He's ready today. Okay.
I'm glad you asked that question. All right, sorry about that, guys. Our camera turned off. But I wanted to talk about four main types of parenting styles. I guess there's other like subcategories, but these are the four types of parenting styles that most people agree on. The first one is permissive.
Okay.
And that's basically the kid is in charge. The kid kind of makes the rules.
Okay.
The next one is authoritative. And that is the let's talk about it. You feel this way? Okay, let's talk about it. But we're the parents. We still make the last call. But I'm going to hear you out. We can talk about it. I'm going to hear your feelings on it.
Right.
But we make the last call as parents. And then you have authoritarian. That's the like I'm the parent. I'm the parent. You're the kid.
Your opinion does not matter.
Right. Right. And then there's the uninvolved.
Neglect.
Yeah.
Right.
That's I'm going to sit on my phone. There should be some food over there and you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, unfortunately, you see that a lot now. Like you were just at a restaurant today with Elias, and what did you see?
Man, yes. So I took Elias out to get pizza this afternoon, and right behind us was a woman and what I assume is her daughter. And they sat down next to us. And as I'm talking to Elias, my eyes kind of gravitate towards them. And I noticed that.
Are you being nosy, man?
Yeah, I'm being nosy. I'm looking at my surroundings.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Don't make it about you, okay?
But what caught my eye was both the mom and the daughter were on their phones.
Yeah.
Not interacting at all. The daughter had her headphones in.
She had her headphones in?
Yeah, the daughter had her headphones in. Oh. The mom was watching something. I could hear her phone. I couldn't tell what it was. But they didn't say anything to each other. I think the daughter mentioned she was going to use the restroom at one point, came back, and I mean, like, that was it.
Right.
They didn't talk to each other at all.
How old would you say they were? Around, what do you think?
Like the daughter was maybe a little bit younger than Elias, and the mom was probably our age.
Yeah, that's sad.
Both of them just on their phones.
It's sad, guys. You have to have boundaries. You have to have limitations. I mean, for Tony and I, our number one rule, what is it? No phones on the table. And we check each other out. So if we do have a phone, we definitely tell each other, hey, I mean, we do, sometimes try to get the phone. If it's too quiet, we kind of, we get an itch and we want to, first thing what we want to do, we want to grab our phone.
Yeah, you want to grab your phone.
And
but that's not, I mean, maybe it's normalized now, but, it shouldn't be. Dinner time should be a time to interact with your family. It should be family time.
Right. So just a quick story with Leilani. She was getting used to when we would go out and we go to a restaurant or, she would take her tablet with her. And she did feel pretty out of the conversation because we would be talking. I guess she couldn't connect to our conversation, but just recently, it's been a couple months now, I said no more. And now she knows. She does it by herself. Like, she will leave it. And it's nice to see her actually talk to everybody. It's just a matter of giving them time.
Yeah.
Did she have a hard time? Yes, she did. She definitely had a hard time. But it's nice to see that she takes initiative herself and she leaves it. She leaves it. And, once in a while, she needs a reminder. It's not perfect, but she leaves and she interacts. So it's really a matter of the parent, I don't know, encouraging the child and making sure that you are involved in that.
I do want to say this. I want to pick your brain out a little bit because I was actually thinking this on the way home, coming back, just thinking about the mom and daughter. Sure, now just gonna play devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. Sure, they were both on their phones. Mm-hmm. They weren't talking to each other, but at least she was there. At least the mom was there.
And I was gonna say that. Just the fact that they actually took time to go hang out.
If that's what you want to call it. But at least they went to go do something together.
Right.
So I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess I have to give her points for that because.
But that's sad. It's so sad because that's literally what people say. Like, I talk to some of the younger generation and they, okay, mind you that Tony and I, we would, we had a party days, and we would go out. No, you know what? Never mind. I guess that's another podcast. Whatever. So,
I had party days, but anyway, that's another podcast.
You had party days?
Had in the past.
And what does that mean?
You still have party days. But anyway, that's another podcast.
Yes, drinking tea with my friends, guys. It's party. Yeah, tea party. So, and I talk to some of the younger generation and they tell me, they're like, yeah, you go to a bar, you go, hang out, and what do you see? A lot of people are just on their phones, recording and not really having, a good time, appreciating the time. You know what I mean? Like,
they're not experiencing what's happening.
Right. They're not. And I think even in our generation, that's a big issue too. I
think it's less of an issue. I think that I think that we can all get together and not be on our phones.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is that when it's like downtime, you still hear a lot of parents being like on their phone and not taking their time to spend. I mean, not spending time with their child.
Yeah.
You do have to be reminded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Lonnie has checked me a couple times. She has. Like, I guess it's just a habit. Like, okay, I'm going to check my emails. And she'll check me like, Mom. Because first of all, guys, Leilani doesn't have a cell phone. Elias didn't have a cell phone until almost 15. So that's just the rule. And I think we're just going to keep it the same with Leilani.
Some people are like, what? No phone? No.
Right.
Elias didn't have a phone until high school. And
I think it was great.
Probably going to be the same.
And I think it was great. I think that's why our son is very social and he can interact with any age. And it has helped even when we go out. He can sit there and have a conversation and not just, have his eyes on this freaking screen. But yeah, she has checked me and she'll say, Mom, it's you're supposed to be spending time with me. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. You know what I mean? So it's really all about what you teach your child.
Right.
you know?
So speaking of devices and, tablets and cell phones, and doing some research for this topic, what I did find was that because millennials experience so much stress, a lot of us have gone to school. We're trying to buy homes, trying to live the American dream. A lot of us are drowning in debt. A lot of us are, maybe we went to school and we graduated, but now we can't find a job or, whatever. We're working now. Like, life is not like it was for our parents and our grandparents. So we're super stressed. And what's happening is we are giving these screens and devices to our children so that we can get a break, so that we can relax.
So I'm just going to say that I do think that our parents were stressed. I think that we stress ourselves out because we want to teach our kids something different. We want to raise them differently. So we are stressing ourselves out in the parenting aspect of it, right?
Well, I mean, like, stress in the sense, and let me give you an example. Okay. Like, our grandparents bought their homes for like $30,000.
Right, but they were getting paid less.
But a dollar stretched a lot further back then.
I mean, depending on the job that you had.
Okay, so yes, people got paid different wages, but the dollar stretched further back then. Like what I'm saying is the dollar is worth less today.
Right. I mean, okay. I understand what you're saying, so, but I'm just trying. It was different times for sure.
Yeah, it was different times. They only needed one person to work. They only needed, the dad or grandfathers to work. Our grandfathers were able to buy a home for $30,000 or whatever the price was back then. Our grandmother stayed home. They raised their kids.
Not my grandmother.
Listen.
My grandmother had to work.
I know some grandmothers did work. I understand that. I'm just generalizing.
Look, I understand what you're saying. Like, as far as inflation goes, we are in 2024. Like, it's ridiculous. Right. That's another topic that we could talk about, guys. I mean, but since we're talking about that right now,
they were able to buy a home without going to school.
Yeah, you're right.
And so now we have to go to school to get higher wages.
Yeah.
To buy homes that are $500,000.
And that's even if you get a job.
If you get a job.
After you graduate. Because you need experience.
And they don't tell you that in school.
But who knows? Because you might be hired at the spot. So they might hire you.
Hey, you know what? If you're a teacher, yeah.
Or a social worker.
Fresh out of school. Do you want? I feel like we should just record the next episode right now. Like,
woo, man. I mean, like I understand what you're saying. Like being a parent nowadays, it is very stressful. It's definitely very stressful. You're juggling so many hats right now. Not that our parents didn't, but just money wise, it's ridiculous. Groceries are high.
Yep.
Rent is high. Gas is high. Okay, so that still doesn't give the excuse for you to neglect your kids, guys. You know what I mean? That still doesn't excuse your parenting style and making sure, because ultimately these kids are going to run our world. They are going to eventually be there. And no, I don't know. I was also taught like, hey, yes, we are stressed. But guess what? Like, we can't do anything about it. So we're still parents at the end of the day. And our kids need to come first. I mean, of course, our relationship comes first. But just because we're talking about parenting styles, we can't neglect them. We can't. Like I don't see any excuse for our kids to be punching another person,
right,
cussing at another person, you know, singing songs that are inappropriate in like there's no excuse. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
right, yeah.
Like it's tiring, but guess what? You do it for 18 years. You know what I mean? And
Shoot,
even
longer than that.
and I was about to
sometimes,
say,
yeah.
and it goes beyond that because
yeah.
they, you know, whatever they decide to do after, it's our responsibility. You know, there's no way around it. You work with what you got. And that's what I was taught.
So, do you think that we haven't learned coping skills?
We have learned or haven't?
Haven't. Because if we're giving our kids iPads because we need a break, do you think that we haven't learned coping skills?
I think to a certain extent, definitely. I mean, I think there's still a big stigma, you know, of trying to get help. You know, so yeah, I mean, let's talk about that. Like, there's
I don't
nothing
know.
wrong.
I think people are a little more open to like therapy nowadays.
I think just because you hear it, it doesn't mean people are accepting of it. People talk about it. You know what I mean?
People talk about it. I mean, I know lots of people that are open about having therapy.
But you see, but that's the thing. Like first you have to work your own, right? Like your own issues, and that doesn't mean parenting.
Right.
So as you're working with your own issues, once you've worked with that, then it comes like, okay, how can I cope with my kids? But that's not going to take a month. That's not going to take a year.
So then you should work on yourself before having kids?
For sure, man. Definitely. If you do, it's going to be hard, but you can do it. You know what I mean? It's possible. But yeah, I mean, I would tell a lot of these young people, if you have issues, work on yourself first, because once those kids come, they come first. You know, all this new generation, me, myself, okay, you know, it's okay. Yeah, like I'm a strong believer in self-care. You know what I mean? I'm a strong believer of like having your time. But guess what? That time comes when my kids are okay. You know, Leilani is off to bed. Elias is good. You're good. It's time for me.
What? Wait a minute.
Did you guys see Tony's face? I loved it. Oh my gosh, guys.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Let me ask you something. Yes.
Push your microphone pad down.
This?
Yeah, push it down.
Oh, here we go.
Did you just put me in the same category as your kids?
No, I did not. I'm just telling you.
You said
No.
make sure the kids are taken care of.
I said Leilani. I said when Leilani goes to bed.
Yeah.
Elias is good.
Yeah.
You're
and then
good.
you said I'm good.
And you're good.
Why would you categorize me with them though? Why would you put the three of us together?
Because you
and
are
we're
my
talking about kids.
No, listen. You see how he took it? I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to understand you right now.
I'm trying to explain to you my responsibilities as a mom, as a wife. You know, because I'm talking about self-care. You're gonna make me forget.
Okay.
I'm talking about self-care. Like I'm big.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man, something triggered you, huh?
Yeah, you triggered me, man.
So, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That you just have to learn how to balance your life. Are there days I'm going crazy? Yes, there are days I'm going crazy, and you know it. You know when I've had a hard time. A hard day.
Yeah, that's usually when you wait until like the last day to finish all your paperwork for the month.
No, I don't know. That's not true. That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's not true, guys.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's not true.
Usually the last week, I'm just like, oh Lord. But you know, again. So my point is, if you are gonna have kids, guys, make sure that you take that into accountability. Like, if you have kids, then after that, that's it. Like, you're gonna have to find different ways. It's not an excuse for you to just neglect your child, or I don't know. Like, there's just so many tactics.
Yeah.
And I will say this, because yes, I'm in the social work field. Every child is different. Okay, every child. Get to know your child. That's also important. You know what I mean? That's also important. As far as parenting styles, I'm not for like, Itoni and I are pretty much not for, you're a child and you're going to listen. It's my way or the highway. Like, definitely we're not like that.
Yeah.
We definitely hear our children and we try to take whatever they share. Right?
But yeah,
Like,
but they understand that we're the parents, though.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But they
know.
know that we're going to listen to them.
Yeah, we hear them out.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Like, well, I don't know about you, but I don't tend to get a whole lot of pushback.
I don't either.
They're
I don't either.
They're typically cool with our decisions.
Leilani, she's starting to test it sometimes. Like, she'll listen, but how
Maybe test you. She doesn't test
no,
me.
not in that sense, but she'll just be like, she'll stomp up the stairs. We're starting to listen to that,
And she does that.
Yeah, and then she'll go into her room.
I usually get the okay, Dada.
Yeah, that's Dada, because he's Dada.
Okay. Aww.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that. And then she'll just be sad for a little bit and gets over it. With
And
me,
then that's it.
with me,
And then she's stumping up the stairs.
Yeah.
With you.
She's dumped the stairs and she's crying. Like, gosh, I didn't
Like
even
you
do
just
anything.
ruined her world.
Oh my god!
I don't know why you do that to Leilani.
Yeah, and there comes Dada trying to rescue her.
No, that's not true. Don't even, because I don't like that.
No, not that you agree with her, but you like, you know what I mean?
That's not true.
Yes, you do.
No,
Yes, you do.
that's
Because
not
she'll
true.
come downstairs and she'll go with you, and you would totally not ignore her.
I mean, she doesn't need to be ignored.
No, but her behavior.
It doesn't need to be ignored. What I'm saying is, I'm not going up there or telling her.
No. But she definitely tries to get your attention. Whatever. That's fine. Again, as a parent, know your child. Like, that's fine. Like, I don't mind that. Like, go ahead, go with your dad. I don't care. It doesn't hurt me. One of us are going to be the bad guy at some point, and that's okay. That's another thing, guys. It's okay to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But going back to like knowing your child, yeah, there's different tactics. You know what I mean? Disciplining your child.
So, of the 4 parenting styles, what do you think is the worst one?
I would say the neglect.
The neglectful? What was that called? Uninvolved. Uninvolved. Yeah, uninvolved.
I would definitely say that.
You think that's the worst one?
Because there's no consistency, for sure. For sure, there's no structure. Even though the authoritarian is not the best either, but there's there's still a level of understanding what your place is and respect, right? Or maybe it's not respect, it's fear, you know, but there's still some structure in the home.
Right.
That's my opinion, but the uninvolved, you do whatever you want.
So I was trying to think about this, and
In the first one.
yeah. So I definitely think that those two are the worst, but trying to choose one over the other, I'm not sure, because I think that they both have like big downfalls, but they're different though.
Right. Being the friend, at least you're involved. At least you're there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But imagine the consequences of allowing the kid to make all the decisions. So
no, there will be a big consequence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If anything, the parent is unfortunately going to be the one to lose there, not the child.
right.
Being neglectful is the child, because you don't know what kind of person they're going to grow up to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So who do you blame? I mean, the child is obviously learning from social media, the streets, friends, family members too. I mean, they might, some kids are born responsible and very independent, and some kids need that guidance that unfortunately they're not receiving at home.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess after hearing you out, I might lean towards the neglectful and involved.
Yeah, because I've seen friends that have had, parents try to be the friend, but they're okay. Yes.
Are they?
They're okay.
Are they?
I mean, they're alive.
Okay.
They're alive.
Right.
So yeah, I would still lean towards the uninvolved one. I mean, it's just sad, man. I don't know. Just thinking about it, a child trying to, like, I don't know. It makes me sad just to think about it.
Yeah. So I think then that we can probably agree that the best parenting style is the authoritarian. Authoritative.
Yes.
Let me make sure I got that one right.
Authoritative, yes.
Authoritative.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that there's and you can have a little bit of different ones, right? I mean, sometimes authoritative like kind of mix. Can mix.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that authoritative is maybe just a branch of authoritarian.
Well,
and that like it's clear that you're the parent and you have the last say.
Can you be also unavailable?
With authoritative?
Authoritarian.
Authoritarian?
Yeah.
Can you be unavailable?
Right. Because
I mean, that's a good one.
Because usually just hear me out. When you see a kid that lashes out and is trying to get the attention, but then you have an authoritarian that's very aggressive and all they do is yell and all they're trying to do is, hey, I am the parent, I am blah, 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 right? But then they're not providing that time to the child. So they're trying to get the attention. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I think I hear what you're saying. So can you be unavailable? My thought is unavailable emotionally.
Or present.
Yeah, well, not present emotionally, not available emotionally. The kid likely feels that he doesn't have a voice And so it's likely that maybe there's all this pent up aggression.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there can be a mixture
Yeah.
of them, when you're parenting your dad.
But you're saying that behavior might also be present in authoritative parenting?
Oh, no. I was just trying to say, like, overall, like, there could be different type of parenting styles mixed together out of those 4.
Oh, I mean, yeah. When you kind of do your research, you Google it or whatever, a lot of it is on a graph. And so, yeah, they kind of, some of them share certain like traits with the other one.
Right.
But I think that the authoritative has
A
lot more of
effect.
the positive traits.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think as millennials, we probably tend to want to do that more because our parents were more authoritarian type.
Yeah.
Or friend type. I mean, at least that's what we saw growing up. Right? Those are like the 2 that we saw in our circle. So we've definitely tried to stay away from that and, kind of stick to it. And yeah, is it perfect? Probably not.
No. Yeah, absolutely not.
It's not perfect, but it's working to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And, we've seen a lot of positive come out of it.
And, I think all we can do is try our best and, hope our kids make better parents than us.
Right. And communicate with your kids. Like I do ask Elias very so often, what can I do better as a parent? I will ask him when we have our, little talks, and I have asked him multiple times, am I doing a good job as your parent?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's nice. It's nice for him to say, so far, yeah, you're okay.
You're okay.
You're all right.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
No, you're okay. He should ask you how he's doing as a kid.
He's a kid.
What? Okay, he should ask you.
No, I'm fine with it. I mean, he will. I'm fine with that.
You don't want to answer that question, though.
What do you mean? Like, how do I think that my son is?
Yeah, but giving.
I mean, I think he's okay.
He's all right.
He's a kid.
He's all right.
He's a kid. I mean, I don't know. I don't have expectations. I don't, and again, maybe because I grew up in a very, like, I was expected to do a lot, so that's part of something that I brought up with me. Like, I'm not going to have expectations. Yes, are there expectations for them to do certain things at home?
I was
going to
say you can't have no expectations for them.
No. But I'm saying, like, how his personality, who he is. Like, no, I mean, yes, I want him to be respectful, right? Yes, I want him to treat others a certain way. Yes, I want him to be responsible. But as far as who he's growing up to be, like, I'm not saying, hey, you need to learn this, or I want you to grow up and be this.
And how about your other kid?
Leilani, she's 9. Leilani she's very different. She's so different. And it's true, guys. I mean, as bad as it is, like, you're trying not to treat your boys differently than your girls, but it's hard because I'm a female. I'm a mom, right? So I know what she might go through. So my conversations with her are definitely very different, but not only because she's a female, but because her personality is so different than Elias. She's very different. She is.
Okay.
Okay, well, let me ask you. I mean, as a dad, like, what is What do you see?
What do I see?
Do you feel like you treat Elias very different than Leilani?
Honestly, I don't think so. And if so, not much different. Mm-hmm. And that's comparing Leilani's age now, back when Elias was that same age. I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, but now you've as having a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old.
I mean, of course.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what you asked me.
No, I asked you like how you think the kids are doing as kids, because Elias asked you, or you asked Elias how you're doing as a parent.
How do you think they're doing?
Elias is doing good. He's doing good.
Hey, Tony, you need to talk more. What do you mean he's doing good?
I know. Well, you don't let me finish talking.
Okay, fine, go.
So I think he's respectful to grown-ups. I think that...
Oh, and that's another thing. I don't mean to cut you off, but communication with the teachers is a must. And they will let you know how they're being treated by your student or your son or daughter.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we do that. Like, there is a communication with his teachers, and that's how we know Elias is.
And what do we get a lot? Oh, your kid behaves so well.
So that's actually a good point, because honestly, guys,
not to brag, guys.
No. But it goes with this topic that we're talking about. So I told Itone, every time that I email his teachers, the first thing they email me has nothing to do with the topic that I have emailed them for. It's always, "Hi, Mrs. Sams, Elias is such a respectful, like he acts well." And it was kind of weird at first. I'm not going to lie. At first, I'm like, okay, that's not what I'm asking.
Yeah.
But that just shows. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably so...
How much they appreciate
right.
him acting the way he does.
Yeah. So, I mean, that just says a lot about nowadays. But yeah, you're right. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. But yeah, like I said, I think he's growing up to be a good young man.
It's good. Sometimes like,
yeah, I told you.
Sometimes his teenage hormones come out, guys. She's like, Jesus. And that's when I call you Tony, and I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Am I so not, he's a boy, so I don't know if I'm like overreacting or what. Apparently I am. But
sometimes, yeah.
What did I say? Mom, you go 0 to 100 real quick.
Yep.
Wow. And what about Leilani?
I mean, she's 9.
What does that mean? She still has her own personality.
I feel like she's different with me.
Oh. You
she's
see that, guys?
Me, so I don't know.
See that, guys? He has nothing bad to say about her.
She's different.
She's daddy's girl.
She always acts good
so
and perfect around me. So what do you want me to say?
You're such a dork.
I tell her to do something. She doesn't stump upstairs. She doesn't start crying.
Like him patting himself in the back. How do you think you're doing as a dad?
That's a good question. I think I'm all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's elaborate.
I'm all right.
Why?
Why do I think I'm all right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not perfect.
Well, no. I mean, it's on me. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. I understand that. But like, what is it that, like, why would you say just, I think I'm all right? Why do you say it like that? Is there something you think you could improve on?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. Maybe spending more time with them. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard for you, though. You work
my schedule.
Yeah.
I sleep a lot, so I don't know. It's hard, but
yeah,
spending more time with them.
I would say this, like, I really try to do things that, like, plan out things that I know you will also be able to spend time with your kids. You know, and that's definitely something definitely something that I'm very, like, haunts me too. Like, spending time with my kids. Sometimes Antonio always tells me, you never think, you spend enough time with them, and that's...
Yeah, and I know you think that way.
I do. And I try to juggle a lot of things and make sure that my kids get time. You know, not to say that I don't know why. I feel like my parents gave me time, but it was very different, you know. But I don't know. That's just something that I find very important.
Yeah, I mean, it is important.
No, I know, but like, and no, you're right. You know, the more hear other parents, the more, like, moms especially, it's normal for me to feel that like that. You know, it's not something that's abnormal, so that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
You know. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely work on yourself, guys, before you have kids.
If you can.
If you can.
Yeah.
If you can.
And if you already have kids,
I mean,
still work on yourself.
oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You know,
there's no handbook.
There's not, and you guys got to remember, they're growing up with you too.
Dang, that's the truth.
You know, they're growing up with you, and
as they grow, you also grow.
Yeah.
So we're not the same people we were 15 years ago.
No. You know, they are also seeing, so it's really important to also take that into account. They see everything and hear everything. So be very mindful of that. Yeah. You know, just because they're kids doesn't mean that, oh, you know, they're dumb and what do they know? And
yeah.
That's such a bad thing, huh? When parents used to say that. Gosh, we would hear everything.
Yeah, but you're a kid, so you don't know anything.
Right, yeah. Right. Yep. Well, good luck. Good luck to Gen Alpha and
Beta.
Oh my gosh, Itones. Oh my gosh. Right. But if you guys have any comments about parenting and agree, disagree.
What parenting style do you use?
Yeah.
What parenting style did you grow up with?
Ooh.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.